So for today I wanted to do a makeup tutorial that I actually got super inspired by LustreLux here on YouTube. She actually did a look recently just like this. I first saw it on her Snapchat and I honestly had just fallen in love, and it's funny because when I watched her actual tutorial on it, she said that she was inspired by someone else who did a similar look. I don't know, something about this makeup look just clicked with me and I was like, I gotta do it. So I'll show you guys her picture here on Instagram that she posted. It's basically just this really pretty mossy green smoky eye, and there's no liner or anything like that. You just have your mossy green smoky eye with some lashes. I did put my own twist on this makeup look, and I did a couple things in the tutorial that she didn't necessarily do. For instance, a pop of gold in the inner corner, which I thought just looked perfect because gold just complements that green so nicely. Another tip for you guys that you might want to try is you can also apply it with gold eyeliner, and I feel like that would just look on point. I actually saw a picture on Instagram of someone who did that a while back and it caught me and kind of stuck with me. I didn't want to do liner for this look though, but you could totally do like a gold winged liner and you just look like an olive gold green goddess. But yeah, this is pretty much the makeup look. The eyes are actually pretty affordable. I did use Makeup Geek and Loreal eyeshadows, so super affordable. So if you guys are interested in checking out how I got this makeup look, make sure to keep on watching. So of course I'm starting off with some primer, and I'm going to be using a mixture of the Makeup Forever Smoothing and Mattifying Primer. Almost forgot the brand name. And of course for foundation I'm using my Holy Grail Estee Lauder Double Wear. You guys know that this is just my Holy Grail foundation, and I pretty much have been using it like for months now straight, almost every single day, with the exception of some new foundations that I try here and there, but this is just like Holy Grail status for me. So I'm going to be using my Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer in the shade Light Warm just to both conceal and highlight some areas on my face, underneath the eye, and also down the center of my face. I put it right in between the brow, down the strip of my nose, and on the cupid's bow and my chin. I think I forgot. No, yep, I remembered. I was going to say I think I forgot to put on my cupid's bow, but I remembered. So I'm also blending that out with the Beauty Blender, and it's damp of course, and I've honestly been loving using the Beauty Blender during the summer. It's just been amazing just because it's really quick, and it also helps to eliminate any cakiness. So one of my favorite tricks for eliminating cakiness is a damp Beauty Blender. So to set both the concealer and the foundation in place so that it doesn't move anywhere and it lasts all day because I do have oily skin, I am going to be taking the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder with a Sigma fluffy brush and setting, like I said, all over the face and also underneath the eye and the concealer. So taking the Kat Foundation Light Contour Palette, I'm taking the yellow shade, and I'm just going to be brightening underneath the eye, and pretty much everywhere that we put that concealer to highlight before, I'm going to be brightening those areas with this yellow powder. It's just going to help to add a little bit of extra pop and a little bit more of a brightness to it. Now to warm up the skin a little bit, I'm taking this Smashbox Bronze Light Warm Matte Bronzer, and I'm just going to warm up the skin, doing it on my cheeks and a little bit up the temple and also along my jawline. Now to further define the face, I'm going to do some contouring of course, and I'm taking the NARS Ita brush with the first shade from the Kat Von D contour palette, and I'm just further defining the cheekbones and contouring of course. And then for blush, just to add a little bit of pop of color to the cheeks, I'm taking Between the Sheets by ColourPop and applying that just right in between where my highlight and my bronzer is. But I am going to add highlight afterwards. So for the highlight, like I mentioned, I'm going to be using Champagne Pop by Becca, and honestly this has just been like my everyday favorite highlighter and I just really love it. I'm going to be applying that right on the tops of my cheeks and also above the brow. Moving on to the eyes, we're going to be priming and setting them. So for priming them, I'm using the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot and just putting that all over. And then to set that primer, just to make sure that shadows glide right over them super smooth, I'm just setting that with the Kat Von D yellow shade in the Shade and Light Contour Palette. Now for eyeshadows today, we're going to be using Makeup Geek shadows just because they're my favorite and you guys know I love them. I do have an affiliate link with them if you guys are interested in purchasing. It is an affiliate link, so just letting you guys know, but I'll leave that down below. I'm going to take the shade, I think it's called Desert Sands. I will leave all the shade names down below, but this is a really beautiful, like, mossy brown with a hint of like this mossy green to it. So this is perfect for this look where it kind of ties into the whole olive theme. Then I'm going to take this really beautiful kind of khaki olive green color. Like I said, I will leave all the shade names down below, but I'm just going to take that and put it on the outer portion of the lid, bring it into the crease, and then put it on the inner portion of the lid. And we're going to kind of just make that halo effect. This is just really going to add some extra definition, and it's also just going to help the shade that we're going to put in the middle kind of have something to blend out into. And you guys know me, one of my biggest tricks for blending out eyeshadow is to work with small amounts of product at first and build up the product. So as you guys can see, I am only taking a little bit of shadow and slowly building up the pigmentation. I'm not just grabbing a bunch and putting it all at once. So that's one of my biggest tips. You might kind of think, oh, this eyeshadow is not too pigmented when I use it, but that's just because I'm only taking a small amount and then I'm working it up. And I find that that just really helps to make your eyeshadow look super blended. It just makes it a lot easier. And then I'm taking a smaller blending brush by Sigma and I'm just further kind of blending everything out. I love this brush for these like halo eyes. It just makes it super easy. Then we're going to go back in with that first shade and we're just going to further put it into the crease again just to help out that shade and the green kind of meet together and blend seamlessly. Then we're going to be taking this L'Oreal Infallible Pressed Pigment in the shade Permanent Khaki. And this is one of the most beautiful khaki shades I was able to find, and it's also a really affordable product, so I love it so much. I also just wet my brush with a little bit of Kat Von D setting mist and just put that right in the center, and I took it and met it with the green that we put on before. And I just honestly, like, how beautiful is this shade? Like, it's literally gorgeous. And of course, just doing a little bit of extra blending. I don't have any shadow on in this part. I just simply use the E36 for its amazing blending abilities and just kind of, you know, fixed up all those lines and make sure everything was blended. And then for the lower lash line, and I wanted it to be a little bit more warm, so I went ahead and took Creme Brulee, but I did mix it with Desert Sands, I think it's called, the first shade that we used, and I just put that on the lower lash line, so I did mix those two. And then I'm taking that same olive shade we put on the outer and inner corner of the lid, and I'm just taking a tiny tight lining brush from Sigma, and I'm just kind of putting that on the lower lash line, but I'm putting it very close to my lashes. So I'm just kind of defining the lower lash line with it, but I'm not like making it super run down and smoky as I did with the Creme Brulee. You guys can see here, I pretty much just did a very thin defined line on the lower lash line here. And then taking that same Permanent Khaki color, what I'm going to do is apply it to the lower lash line just right in the center, just so that it just gives it a little bit of an extra pop and it can match the lid. The next thing I did was I took this Makeup Geek foiled shadow. I believe this is in the shade Fantasy, but of course I will leave all permanent like shade names down below. I went ahead and took a little bit on my finger and just popped it right in the center of that lid. And what this does is it just gives it a little bit of that extra pop. And I honestly am in love with that shadow. Like, how beautiful does that little bit of extra pop look? Like, I love that shade. I believe the name is Jester, but we'll leave it down below. So then I'm tight lining. I'm using the Tarte Inner Rim Brightener on the bottom, and then the L'Oreal Silkamise, I think it's called, black liner on the top. And then, of course, I am just applying some mascara and preparing them for some falsies that I will put on. First, for mascara, I'm using the Maybelline Lash Sensational in the shade Black. This has been my holy grail mascara. It literally is amazing. More amazing than some higher end ones. And it's so amazing. I don't even know what else to say about it. It's awesome. So for lashes, I'm using the Esquito Voila Lash. I do have an affiliate code and link with them. You can get 20% off using the code, I think, Amy Esquito. I'll leave all the info down below. So then I'm taking a mixture of this gold pigment and the Makeup Geek foiled shadow, and I'm just popping that right in the middle, or sorry, in the inner tear duct. And this is just going to give it a kind of gold inner tear duct, and it just, honestly, I thought it looked amazing. I thought that the gold really complemented that kind of mossy green. And not only that, mixing the gold with a touch of the Makeup Geek shadow turned the gold into more of a mossy gold, and I really loved this touch. And then for lips, I'm using a just basic, really beautiful beige neutral brown shade. This is a liquid lipstick by LA Splash Cosmetics. And what I decided to do was just take a little bit of my MAC Bianca B lipstick and apply that right in the middle. And just kind of do a little bit of an ombre effect, and also just help to lighten the lip a little bit. And I kind of just blended everything all in. So that is it for this look. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys. Mwah. Shadows itself and just everything I'm obsessed with. It is very pricey. In Canada, you pay $50 basically for the case and 6 eyeshadows, which normally for $50 you could get like the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, which has